Welcome in, my friends. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10, getting started here at the end of April. It has hopefully been a great month. We know March was solid, but we know kind of why March was solid. So we're going to talk about it. And I think I've got people within my own organization that aren't in love with the idea of me doing this. But guess what? We're going to do it here on the 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10 show. Tariffs. Oh boy, tariffs. What will we do? What will we do? It's a wild term. It obviously is a kind of a fire starter for conversation. Look, I'll be clear about something. I'm a big fan of reform of anything, any existing process, structure, or concept. I believe in constant inspection to make sure all efficiencies, both financial and of human time and capital, are met. So I am not opposed to the idea of renegotiation and talking through things. I just take a little bit more metered approach in how I do it. So here's what I'll say about tariffs and the automotive industry. The impact could obviously be absolutely massive. Now, we're already seeing our OEMs come out with price lock guarantee to a certain date, and we know this and we know that, and I love that. I do love that. What I don't love is I don't love fucking fear-mongering people over the concept and idea that if not now, then never again, because it'll be 25% more, and this is it, and this is your only chance, and tariff this, and tariff that. Keep the fucking tariffs out of your advertising, please. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Were you putting after 9/11 in your ads? Were you putting thanks to the financial crisis in 08? Were you saying, Greg, you got COVID, come get a car? No, then what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what is the purpose of taking this term and basically using it to gaslight a consumer into the concept of buying a car? Okay, so here's what I'll say, and I said it during COVID. Everyone got all, oh my God, look at what we did during COVID. Oh my God. Well, remember what March felt like and how it was? That probably ain't going to happen again. So don't go complaining again when things don't go our way. This is an industry that has been through this shit since the dawn of time. I already went through the list, okay? But downturn, economic fear, whatever you want to call things over the last 24 years, 25 years, call it what you want. I don't care. The point is, when the downturn happens, the American consumer dictates all. Don't ever, ever, ever forget it. Ever. They dictate all. So if they're tired, if they're burnt out, if things get too expensive and you don't have a reason to be locked in your house for 6 months with nowhere to go and cash piling up in your bank account, like COVID, you'll begin to stop spending money. It's just the way it is. That's not that weird. So tariffs are just one more thing that is going to be here. Now, let's look at it again from the fact that we already put a 90-day pause, right? I get a sneaking suspicion that won't be the last pause. My opinion. I think, as my friend likes to always say, we're going to be kicking the can down the road a second. And so I think that'll happen here. I think the American consumer might also be surprised how many cars from non-American companies are made in America, whether it's Toyota, Nissan, or Honda. I think people will be surprised. I really do. But then there's this weird part, right? Like cars that are manufactured here that are shipped elsewhere, right, by these manufacturers, like BMW, I believe, according to one of my buddies, has one of the largest plants in their entire operations here in the United States, and they export. But they bring in parts from other places. How is this going to work, right? Now, I told you at the start of this show that I'm an infrastructure guy. And I like reform on infrastructure because I like to make sure that it's as efficient as possible. Period. I live my whole life by efficiency. It's all that matters to me. It's the only way that we've gotten away with having as fewer people working here for as long as we've been around, is because efficiency is like the number one thing of our ethos. Period. So when looking at this through the lens of efficiency, let me ask you, who is going to be responsible at the ports for the tariffs? And then what will happen from there? What will that do to a backlog incoming shipments, right? Which causes a headache. Then from there, does it go into a computer system? What does it go into, right? Who pays? How does it charge? Where does it go? How does it hit everyone? We're already hearing whispers of exceptions. slippery slope if we're going to get into this, because what? How are some people going to have exceptions and others are not? What will that mean? Do I understand the idea of more American manufacturing? Hell yeah, I do. Do I think that ship is probably past, or at least is going to take 8 to 10 years to turn it back around? I definitely do. And on top of that, you're going to have to change a lot of regulations to compete with places like China. So I just ask us to take a step back and look at what we're doing right now in the industry. And let's just try to remember that we have seen this all before. All of it. And it's not a new thing. It has a new name, tariffs. Is going to cause disruption in automotive. Yes. One way or another. If we don't sell new cars, it'll put a pinch on used cars, and so on down the line, something we just saw with COVID. So, because it's nothing new, let's act like we've been here before. And let's act like we're not over our skis on the concept. Now, I think that there is a reasonable amount of explanation that you can give to consumers about, like, when they talk about the price lock and things like this, where you don't have to use the word tariff. You can say price lock. Customer asks, why is it price lock? Well, folks, we're not sure of the impending tariff situation. That's all one-to-one conversation. Like I said, post 9/11, I was selling cars, bro. You don't think people ask, well, given everything that's going on in the market, can we do better here? Of course they did. And of course, we came out with savings, and it was American flag, and it was saying it without saying it, and that's all I'm asking us to do. You did the same thing during COVID. You did the same thing during 2008. You said it without saying it. Let's do that. And I would also say that you need to be careful what language you put out in the world, either at social or Google Ads or on your website, because negative press and feedback is alive and well, my friends. It's alive and well. And you need to be ready for it, because it's coming. And people have their opinion. People do what they do. They say what they say. You want to make sure that your dealership is as vanilla and, without issue on this topic, wherever you can go. And so, stay away from the language. Stay away from the fear-mongering. And remember, you just pulled a bunch of people forward. So if April is still good, not as good as March. If May is good, but not as good as April or March. And then if June slows down, you think to yourself, this is the middle of the summer. What the hell happened here? Remember, all those people that bought cars in March because they were scared, by June, they would cost 25% more. It's why I appreciate the price lock from the manufacturer, because they came out and were like, hey, hold on, let's see if we can slow this down a little bit. Let's see if we can stop getting our whole number in March that we can't forecast for April and May, and blah, 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 blah. So everyone's on the same page at that level, which is very interesting to me from an OEM. You see a lot of OEMs saying it. The OEMs also have regulation on language, right? Some are like, well, let's say what you want. Others are like, absolutely not, distressed language, don't bring it up. I would have to agree with distressed language, only because of the avoidance of the language. And it's not to be not transparent. I do not want to hear this shit. I am one of the most transparent humans you will ever meet. This is not about transparency. I don't believe in fear-mongering any part of my life fucking ever. And when I hear it, when I see it, I get frustrated, because it's no way to do business. It just isn't. I know it works. Fuck, of course it works. It doesn't matter. I don't like it. It doesn't align with how I approach things. And so when my clients come for advice, that's the advice they get. Stay the fuck away from it. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. Have one-to-one conversations when necessary with consumers. Stay away from it. That is my 2 cents on tariffs. Let me hear yours. Thank you all so much for joining the show. I look forward to talking to you next week, where we're going to continue down the marketing vein here, and we're going to be talking about traffic versus leads. Thank you guys so much. Have a great end to your April.